This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So
It's a great,
go ahead.
it's a great day here.
You let me guess. You got what'd you get?
My machine came today,
Good.
the 35100.
Very good. It's
My
been a
wife
while
and I
coming.
had to take it apart to get it in,
Okay.
but we got it done.
Yeah, I bet that was a little chore. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I've seen it done. I wouldn't want to do it. I was lucky I was able to just roll mine in. So
If it's off, you'll have a
Well,
line through it.
I only had a 28-inch door.
gotcha. Did you have to take the hinges and stuff off, or just like the alarm stalk? Did you have to take any of the emergency stop or anything
Just a
out?
light.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
No, just a light.
Yeah. We've had people skin that thing down and take, the hinges off and all of that to get it to fit. And, you can squeeze it through a pretty narrow space if you push hard enough. So I'm glad that worked
just
out.
My wife and I, and we did it. It's in here now.
Okay. Yeah. Usually on the forums, they're like, we had 2 or 3 guys over here helping us and all that. So, all right. That's spectacular. So, hey,
It's hard
Jason.
when you're retired to find somebody who's not working.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I know what you mean. It's sitting there and you get impatient. You're like, let's just do it. Let's just get it in there. So,
Hey, Brian,
yeah.
let's talk about what you talked about Saturday. I've noticed Frank's his lasers in his house. It looks like.
Uh-huh.
Remember we talked about smell. Can we ask everybody what they're doing about their burnt smell? And mine's out of the shop, so I can deal with the smell, but my wife can't stand it. So what is everybody doing about their smell? I know it smells like money.
Taking a shower.
Well, I haven't even started it up yet, but I have a 8-inch inline.
I do too.
Cloud Infinity going straight out the window.
Let me get on. Let me get my
machine's
camera.
about. Yeah, my window's about
The one
3 feet from the.
The one thing about smell is if you're smelling smoke, there's probably a leak somewhere. Because if everything's running right, you shouldn't hardly, if any, or smell any odor at all.
Yeah.
So if you're smelling smoke or getting smoke somewhere, there's a leak.
I need to look for.
And it looks like you got some hard ducting there, and those are notorious if you don't tape the seams up.
Okay.
Where they swivel and rotate.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't tape those seams up, smoke, because your fan is right there.
Yes, sir.
So all your bottleneck is happening right at that 90 degree.
Okay.
So if that stuff's not taped up, you may not see the smoke, but the smell will definitely show through.
Okay, I'll do that tonight.
Yeah, that elbow,
So
if that twists, it can be loose.
I got a filter.
Get you some metal duct tape. That's actually for ducting.
Yeah, I've got a filter base right before it goes into my fan.
Okay. Is that what the gray part is below the black part?
Yes.
Okay.
Filter box.
Yeah, and that shouldn't leak anything really, because that's on the vacuum side. All that stuff will be on the negative pressure side, so that'll be good there. Yeah, but he's right on the outlet of that fan. Those 90s, especially if they twist, some of them are adjustable, and you can they'll leak through there.
I'll take care of that tonight.
Yep, that should help with any smell. But yeah, if you're smelling anything, especially the way you got it set up, like Brian said, there should be nothing from the machine to the fan because you're pulling negative pressure. So nothing should be getting out. The only thing that's going to get out is basically from the fan to the outside.
Yeah.
Another question then. I noticed from my machine to right under my air box, that's like an 8-foot, 10-foot piece. I could cut 4 feet off that duct and still have plenty room. Is that a problem there, you think?
Well,
I don't know. Since it's negative, since you're
Negative
on the
pressure
vacuum side,
shouldn't.
it should flow fine. The flow restriction I think would be minimal for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about that being pressurized and it leaking or permeating through the material because that's just a plasticized cloth
Yep.
reinforced, hose. So, but yeah, that should be fine. I wouldn't cut it.
All right.
Yeah. If it was on the other, if it was the other way around, then yeah, I'd be concerned with it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be concerned the way it is now, because if you need to move it or something, you can pull it away and not have to worry about it binding up. But you got the setup put up there perfectly the way it should be, or the
Yeah.
best way you can. Just get
Yeah.
that tape and kind of seal up those
Alright.
joints, and you should be fine.
Okay, I'll do
fine.
that. Appreciate it.
Talking about fans, I don't know when this is starting. I think it might already have. They are sending inline axial fans with all Thunder machines now. No more of those green centrifugal fans. So they're all going to be quiet. So you won't have to buy cloud lines anymore unless you just really want to. So I know that doesn't help all you guys that already have your machines. And I don't know when it's implemented. China said, hey, we're doing this. Here's the model of the fans. It'll be a 6-inch for the Nova 35 and an 8-inch for the Nova 51 and 63. And then some of the smaller, like the Odins, are going to get the 6. But
I got the old type.
yeah, all the ones that
I
are
got
coming
the old
out
type today.
all the ones that are coming out now, the new types probably haven't hit the shores yet, because I just found out about this like yesterday. So they're putting this into production, but nobody that's going to get their machine in the next couple of weeks is probably going to see one. If they do, I'd like to hear about it. But they're putting the. I might have. Actually, I might have. Let's see which screen I'm going to share this time because I never share the right one. Let's see. Screen share. Here we go. I think I have an article about it. I was looking at Boss. They have that turbo drive now, and they're saying it's 4 times faster or 5 times faster. And I saw some jabber about it. They're using the same motors we are, I think. We've been doing 1,000 millimeters per second. They say 1,300 on theirs, and maybe, but we can do 1,200 or 1,300 too if we want to. We just don't. So that's not as big a deal as I thought it was. Exhaust fans. I think I made an article on it. Yes. So that's what they're going to look like now. So that's the 200 PE. That's the 6-inch, I think. And they move quite a bit of air, and they're pretty quiet. And then there's an 8-inch also. But I've got a little bit of documentation on them. That's one of them. I think there's actually another one. No, that's the 6-inch. Yeah, that's the 6-inch fan. But that's what they're going to all come with now. So I think that'll be neat. They'll be quiet. So
if we haven't used the old fan that came with the machine, is there a chance we can exchange it for one of those?
I doubt it. See, these come as kits. They put them together in China. I mean, we don't stock them. You know what I mean? It's not something we can just swap out. So I don't think they would probably do that. Best case is hang on to it for a spare, or maybe somebody else will take it off your hands, if they need one or something. It's still a pretty common fan. Those green ones are. All right. Well, like I said, if anybody's got any questions, just jump right in.
I got one.
All right.
The 51 that I'm getting, I told you, is a 130 watt. I know that the 51s also ship with hundreds, but I'm curious, is there any modification that needs to be made if I wanted to run an 80 in that machine?
You'd have to change the power supply. I had a guy that actually went back down to an 80 because he was engraving some real fine, intricate stuff on some real delicate materials. He got a 130, and we dropped him to 100 first, put a 100-watt tube in it when his 130-watt tube went out, and just dialed the power supply down. And then eventually he put an 80-watt or 100-watt power supply in and an 80-watt tube. So
so you do have to change the power supply to go down to 80?
Well, it's best to get it to
Is that
match. You
is
don't
that kind
have
of
to.
is it a relatively user-friendly thing to do, or is it a big, complicated, hairy electrical deal? Swapping out
It's
the power supply.
it's 4 screws.
Okay.
So,
I can handle that, I think.
famous last words, right? It's just 4
Yeah,
screws.
exactly. Exactly. All right, good to know, because that was my concern also. I started reading up a little bit and I thought, wow, 130 may be, maybe more power than I even want. So, but I really like the bed size.
Sure.
So I'll work with it and see.
Most of the time you'll be able to dial that down. There's so many people that are like engraving, doing surface engraving on acrylic, in very high detail with the 130s. So
Right.
I know there's all that talk about, the lower end tubes you can dial down more and but you can dial the 130s in. You just got to hold your mouth right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the guy that I'm buying it from is mostly cutting. He's cutting wood. He's doing a lot of cutting. So, but it's food for thought. I'm just trying to think ahead of what we may encounter and what our uses. We're really going to be doing a lot of engraving, I'm anticipating, but I'm glad to have a machine that's that's capable of doing even more if we get inspired. So
Sure. Yeah. Just about
Brian,
anything's possible.
Brian, you were asking me about something earlier, or you're
Oh
starting
yeah.
to?
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I got my tripod out and I put one camera way above me on top, shining down on my work area. I was going to do that upgrade, the metal upgrade on the full rotoboss. And I had multiple camera views and I had it all set up perfect. And I started doing it and I got it all messed up and started putting things together upside down and backwards. So yeah, it ain't happening. I scrubbed it. So I just went ahead and put it together.
Nice.
Because I didn't have any real bearing or direction. So I just went with it.
I got something I wanted to run by the crowd for like the junior and the low roller.
Is that the recess deal?
Well, that's coming, but that's
okay.
I wanted to show. Here, let me see. So, some of the issues with the one of the downsides with the low roller and the junior is the growler issue. And let me see here. That don't look good. All right. So we might not do that. But anyways. Oh, let me try to reset that. Anyway, I'll come back to that. But anyways, I came up with the basically a clamping mechanism for the heel plate side.
Oh, okay. Is that thing you sent me with the 2 wheels on it?
No.
Okay.
The 2 wheel. Oh no, that's the bottle clamp.
Oh,
that's for doing bottles and stuff on the rotoboss.
Gotcha.
This here is because the rotoboss is obviously made to do a lot of the really odd shaped objects. But the one thing that the junior and stuff can't do real easily is growlers, which are becoming more and more popular, and people are using them. There we go. All right, so come on.
It's like I'm watching a 1983 episode of America's Funniest Home Videos or something.
You're watching the moon landing or something.
The moon landing. Yeah, we can see what's happening though.
All right. So okay, so you have the heel plate here.
Can you kick him up full screen, Brian?
I don't think so. I just turned it on to view who's talking, and then it just comes up separately.
Well, I can't do a screen share because that's not going to work either. I don't think. Here,
I can make you presenter, I think. Is that what you're wanting, to share your screen?
Well, I mean, I can share my screen, but I don't have any. I don't know which screen it's going to share.
Yeah, I never know either. Just.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to share it real quick.
All right.
So you guys see it?
Okay.
Yeah, for us
You see
blind
it?
old people.
Is it up? I can't
Yeah, it's up.
tell if it's up.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, so you have the heel plate on here. Take that off. And then what you do is you can take off the clamp on the other side, and this now becomes your heel plate essentially. And then you have this,
Okay.
which is essentially another clamp, but it's made or designed to
Right.
fit on here, like so. So now you have
Okay.
the clamp on the heel plate side, and then cup can now go in and be clamped down on that side. Now,
Does it matter that it's being clamped on a non-drive wheel side as far as still slipping? You know what I mean?
well, the slipping, yeah, but well, I haven't got to that part yet. I'm
Oh, I
still
got you.
working out the details. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a longer arm
hmm
where it'll reach further into the cup and put the weight more towards the center of it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So that way
that-
it still puts enough
yeah.
weight on the drive side. Because right
Gotcha.
now, spinning
It's
the
tipping
wheels,
it up a little. Yeah.
yeah, you can see it kind of rocking.
Uh-huh.
Um,
No, yeah,
so
that
yeah,
makes
there's
sense.
not,
If you make that longer, where it goes closer toward that side, that ought to do it.
yeah.
Had to be a pretty stiff spring. Too bad you
Well,
could make
yeah,
a rod and make it telescopic too.
yeah. I mean, there's several different ways I can do it. I just came up with this, and I figured I'd
Yeah.
toss it out there and see if anybody,
Yeah, because those would be a
like I
lot
said,
better if you drive them on the fat side.
oh yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out something to do.
I
Well, I
have an
have
idea
something
about
else.
that.
Well, I have a chuck system I'm working on,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna get into that. But
Okay.
trying to figure out some way to make a system to where it's adaptable to what's already there and it can actually clamp down on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do stuff like that. But yeah, it was just an idea. I want to kind of throw it out
Yeah.
there and see what people thought, and if it's
I'd
worth
give that a shot, man. If
it's worth even continuing to mess with it, because
yeah.
I mean, ultimately the rotoboss is made for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you have a 24, you're not exactly able to do that yet with the rotoboss.
Mm-hmm.
And I say yet with laughter because the thing I told you about or showed you,
Uh-huh.
I'm working on that so the rotoboss will actually work as well
Gotcha.
on the 24.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of what I wanted to throw out there. But anyways, how do I get off this thing?
Yeah, it'd be worth it. It'd be worth a try. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's
Cool.
it. But anyways, yeah, anybody that's it should be shipping out next week. You got the motors coming this way, so should be getting those out in the mail and start next week.
Got a
Sweet.
couple questions.
All right.
This is John. For the if you use an Ethernet cable, should it be Cat 5 or 6? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Cat 6 will technically be quicker, I guess, but with the laser, it's not. I don't think you're too much worried about.
Yeah,
the
I
speed
don't
of
think
it.
you'll get anywhere near 100 megabits throughput on
Yeah.
those things anyway. But I mean, theoretically, Cat 6 would be better. But I mean, if it's a short run, I'm sure those
20
ones.
feet. 20 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cat 5 would be plenty.
Okay. And you got my note on the USB issue. Got any suggestions? Anybody have suggestions? I won't recognize my machine on the USB.
You need to reload the reload Lightburn and be sure to check install ftdi driver. It's in the second part, so just rerun the installer. You can install it over the top of itself. You don't have to uninstall Lightburn first. So just
I put all the other stuff in there. I put the codes in and all the other stuff. And I did put the Roita in. I put all the information like your video said manually, but it still doesn't see it. Windows doesn't see it.
Well, yeah,
it
right.
isn't clear,
Because
but you don't have a
there
driver.
would have been if you'd have checked that, there would have been a separate part where it starts installing FTDI drivers, and it would give you a whole separate dialog for that. So if you didn't see it installed FTDI drivers, then that wasn't ever selected during the initial installation.
Okay, I'll take a look at that.
So yeah, just rerun the installer again, that you downloaded from Lightburn to install Lightburn. Just run it and go through the installation process again. And then the second part, after you answer the first set of questions, it'll pop up and give you a couple extra options. There's an article on it. I'll pull it up real quick in a little video that shows it. I'll stick it in the chat. Screen that one. Let's see.
There's a lot of good articles, Brian, but I've read about 100 and I've still probably gotten close.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, you guys do have some great articles, but just, you can go on and on and on. Well, I think this is one. I think this is the one.
Connect Thunder Laser Lightburn via USB. The second video is here. I'll just send you that link.
Okay, because I did get a link to one of them, and I looked at one of them and it didn't offer me anything I hadn't seen really.
Yeah, well, this goes over the FTDI driver. If you would have this dialog come up that said the FTDI COM drivers, that would be a totally separate dialog that would come up during the installation process. So if you didn't see that the first time, that's usually why it doesn't see it. And then if that doesn't work, of course, we can jump in and do a remote station if you want afterwards.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know if I saw that or not. I maybe didn't know what to do with it. Okay, it wasn't on the video that I'd seen. All right, thanks. We'll give it a go.
Did you have any other questions?
No, I mean, I haven't got it. I mean, I did test it. I have some questions later about bed height, but maybe I didn't put the auto height on, or some issues I haven't figured out yet. We're still trying to get it up and running, but I did watch your hour where you talk to somebody on their hour thing and you put in all the gold card and you put in a lot of the other measurements, and I did all that. I put the controller in myself and did all that stuff to it.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Hey John, do you have a hub set? Do you have a US or a Ethernet hub?
Yeah, I'm trying to
tie your laser into your Ethernet hub and then go wireless with your laptop. Then you don't have to worry about all the USB stuff.
Well, I'm doing the USB stuff because the other computer, it's not a laptop, it's a desktop thing. It's a little older computer. I'm trying to do this first. If this doesn't work, then that's what I'm going to have to do. I realize that. But
yeah, either that or you could run an ad hoc. You could just go straight from the laser to that computer with the network cable. If it's sitting there next to the laser, you don't have to technically connect it to your modem or router if you don't want to, unless you just wanted it to be fully networked.
Yeah, I want it to be by itself, standalone, but then I'll have to add another card, another Ethernet card, because it's already being used. That's the problem.
Oh, you just need a hub, a 5-port hub. You can pick one of those up for $20 if your port's already being used. You have a hardwired Ethernet going to it, internet connection.
I got a hardwired. It's going to a printer. It's going somewhere. I don't remember where it's going. I have to hunt it up. But it's going somewhere.
Gotcha. Well, you can split that. You can get a 5-port hub. You don't really need a router, just a dumb switch, just a hub. And that way you can split your Ethernet and you'll have a couple extra ports there.
Okay, we'll try that if this other USB thing doesn't work. I might have missed what you were talking about. I didn't know how to click that box probably. So there's a 50-50 chance that's what I missed. Thanks for your help, Jim and Brian.
Sure. So let's see. I talked about the fans. I don't think there's anything else new. So if anybody's got anything, feel free to jump right in. or I wonder if I could remote in, John. We could jump in there and look at your computer real quick while we could do a training while we're on here.
Yeah, you could probably do that. I don't have I don't know what program you remote in on. I don't have.
Well, you could open up Lightburn. You could have your Lightburn open and then turn it up on present. I could make you presenter and then you could share your screen and I could walk you through it. That would be one option. I mean, if we just were trying to kill time, I've always thought about experimenting with doing some live troubleshooting or something, some instance someday.
Well, we were initially, you and I talked about that ages ago.
Yeah, right. It was that. Yeah.
Here you go. Here's your topic. Tell us how to do pumpkins since it's Halloween time.
I think I tried one once and it just made a mess all over my nozzle, so I just gave up after that. But
Well,
I do see people have better results by trying to engrave it off, the skin rather than to try to cut it out all the way through.
yeah, I was dumb enough to tell my wife one time that it can be done, and now she's got a book club party this weekend. She says, "Can you engrave?" I'm like, I don't really want to clean up that mess.
You can do it. Just wrap it in saran wrap or something. Maybe that'll minimize it.
Just want to keep the air turned down, basically, really like really low, just to keep from it going up in there.
Splatter,
But
yeah, you don't want
yeah,
splatter, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I tried to like cut one out, just straight cut it out, and I probably didn't have the sides scraped thin enough, and things like that. But then I've seen a lot of people actually engrave them, and you can see the light through them, and it looks really cool. But yeah, I
that's
haven't
sort of
actually
what my
completed
thoughts are.
one.
It would look cool.
Yeah,
I just don't want to clean up the mess.
yeah. Well, to tell her if you do the pumpkin, she has to clean up the laser.
I got a question. Why is
Yeah.
the right side panel screwed in? All the others can open up, but that one's screwed shut. Kind of interesting.
Because the
FDA.
FDA required us to put that there because the laser beam, if the mirror breaks or something like that, that's in where the laser beam path is. And if the mirror were missing or if you put your hand in there or whatnot, there's laser radiation open in that part of the cabinet.
Okay, I was just curious because I noticed that's the only one that didn't open up.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, but there's a lock, and their madness is that a 5-year-old could twist that lock and open it. So they want to what it is a transfer of legal liability. Once you take those screws out, the liability's on the end user.
Well, if you look at if you stand and look at your laser, and basically you look where those screws are at on that right hand side, and then all of a sudden you look over where the mirror's at, pointing at
It's
you.
right there.
That is the
Yeah,
reason why the FDA, because it's shooting that direction.
I've only been playing the machine a day here. I got the camera pretty much.
I mean, when
going.
you're standing there looking at it,
Yeah.
just look over, and then it's sort of like oh, just because that mirror is pointing towards you on that side, that's the reason why the FDA requires it.
Yeah, and that's in the manual, and I think maybe I should make it bigger. I'm going through that manual also because there's a lot of
Oh, is
people.
it really? I didn't even see it in the manual. I just looked at.
Yeah, but it's just some writing. It says 2 screws and a lock for that door, and the 2 screws must be removed, but it doesn't have like a picture and arrows and things like that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
when you and I was having that conversation that one day, and I just had that remember when we was talking on the phone? I had that dumb moment. I was like, oh, look at you look right at the mirror, and that's the reason why.
yeah. So, and you don't have to put them back in, after that.
Yeah, I
So,
hadn't seen that installer thing. I didn't do that. You're right.
gotcha,
The ftdi, I just did it. So I'll have to tell Chris, you don't need to call me tonight. I got to still try it, but I hadn't done that.
gotcha.
To answer your question, John, yes.
Yes.
I seen your message.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you don't mind, send me your thing there. I appreciate it.
So,
Hey, Jason, check your chat.
I need to open that up too. It closes on me. I'm gonna move it over to the side where I can see it. And I've been trying to take notes of what we talked about. Oh, I missed a few things. Door screwed shut.
Our
What's
weekly
that?
after hours thing, that's been happening like the last 3 weeks has been crazy. We've been going like hour up to 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times I still have stuff scheduled at 4, or like 4:15. I'll give myself a 15-minute break to go get a drink and relieve myself or something, in between
Yeah,
them. So,
sort
or
of
I
been
would
funny
stay
how
on.
it's
So,
happened this last 2 or 3 weeks. I just started calling it the after hours show.
yeah, maybe I'll just leave it recorded next time.
I didn't know if you wanted me to or not because I didn't know how that affected anything, so I didn't do it. And then there's conversations that have a tendency of going off topic.
Right. Yeah. That's a good thing about having that. You can hear a little bit and not have to worry. So,
I figure it's not like you had to publish it anyways if it was recorded, but I didn't know if you'd want it recorded or not.
Yeah, and I can go in and edit. I try not to do so much editing these days. It took me 4 hours, in post on a video that ended up being 30 minutes long when I would have all of my cameras separate and then have all the tracks separate and then have to combine them and switch and, cut them and trim them. Oh, that was horrible. So I try not to, whatever you see is what you get. If it's too bad that I can't put it out there, then I just won't. So,
yeah, we've actually covered it. Actually, a couple of times we've actually covered some interesting stuff, but there's in the middle of that interesting stuff. Sometimes it goes awry, so it's one of the reasons why I've not bothered to record.
So, all right. Well, if anybody's got anything, we've got time, and I don't have anything new. So
I shut the computer. I shut the machine down, and I turned it back on, and I came out of Lightburn. Should I come out of Windows again? Because it didn't seem to do it. Loading the FDI drivers.
Didn't seem to do it. So the next thing would be, can you? Let's see. I think do you want me to make you presenter real quick and we can have a look?
Well, it's on a different computer.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I might be able to get in there. Let me see if I can get in there. Hang on. But then you have to, let's see. Let's see. Thunder.
Ron, I got something you talk
Okay.
about. On your video a month or two back, you had a video on your chiller about lowering the temperature.
Okay.
Okay, is it okay just leave it the way it came, or do you recommend dropping that temperature down? What do you recommend?
So the way the 5000 series chillers come, if you have a 130 watt machine, you'll get a 5200 and it'll be different. But all the 5000 series machines, the chillers come, or 5000 series chillers, they come in intelligent mode, which means they're going to stay within 5 degrees of the ambient temperature of the room. And that's typically for a conditioned space or, a kind of a neutral temperature zone. What happens if you run that when it's 80 or 90 degrees outside, it'll get within 5 degrees of 80. You see what I mean?
Now be recorded.
What the heck
Feedback.
was that? Yeah.
Oh, hey. Oh, can other people record too?
I don't know. That was weird.
That was weird.
No, it's just every time you log in, it tells you you're recording.
I gotcha.
Oh, somebody just logged in. Okay, somebody just logged in and got the feedback.
Computer's in the same room.
So you can put the chiller in constant set point mode. And you have to go in and change it to that first, and then the set point should already be at 200 at 20 degrees Celsius, which is what we typically run them at. So, but you're still, it can still vary, within 5 degrees of that 20. But the difference is it's always going to be plus or minus 5 degrees of 20, not plus or minus 5 degrees of whatever temperature it happens to be in the room. So there's a little bit more control, it's a little bit more stable. And it depends. If you're in an air conditioned space, it doesn't matter. That's what they're intended for.
Yeah, that's why mine's controlled.
Yeah. So I would just leave it in intelligent mode. It's more energy efficient and the chiller doesn't run as hard and long.
Okay.
And unless you notice a reason why you think you should, then I would just leave it in intelligent mode.
No,
So I turn.
Yeah, it's just a question.
Yeah, sure. So.
Yeah, I've noticed in the constant mode, basically it's 19 to 24.
Yeah. But if you'll notice, it usually stays right around 19 or 20, no matter what you do. I've gotten mine to come up a little bit when it's 90 in the shop, and I'm cutting 3/4 inch acrylic or something. Of course, the chiller, if it gets above temperature, it'll interrupt the thing and not let you do anything. So there's safeties in place always, no matter what mode you have it in.
How is the 5200 different than the others in the 5000 series then?
The 5200 has a little bit bigger pump in it, a little bit hotter power supply. So it moves a little bit more water. And it's also got more cooling capacity, just a little bit, not a lot, but enough to make a difference. We do that on the 130s. The 5000 would probably support a 130 watt tube and not be, taxed too bad. But we like to go the extra mile and just give that extra boost on those higher wattage ones.
Well, I'm guessing he got it with a 5200, and that's what it's. He's
That all of the 130 watt machines ship with a 5200 chiller.
right. Okay, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what he's got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll have a 4 amp power supply, I think, instead of a 2. Chiller diagnostics. I think I have all that stuff in here. Let me pop the screen up again. I've got all the parts here for all the different models. Let's see. See, that's a 50 watt pump, a 2450, and it's a 2 amp for the 5200. The 3000 series and the 5000 series have a 1.6 amp or 30 watt pump. And they move about 10 liters per minute. The 5200 moves about 13 liters per minute. And then the power supplies are a little bigger. Matter of fact, yeah, the 5000 series has a 1.6 amp, and then the 5200 has a 2 amp power supply. But other than that, and the controller will be different too. You'll have a T50, maybe it is a T504. Yeah, you'll have a T504, and it'll come in constant set point. It'll be set that way from the factory.
And that all runs on a standard 110 20 amp outlet?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
All right, I got it set up on the other computer, Brian.
Okay. So
I'm not sure how to.
Yeah, you'll have to, there should be a screen share thing. And if you right click it, it should let you preview which one you're going to share before you actually do it.
No, I'm just gonna go share my screen. There.
Okay.
Share. Can anybody see it? It's a standard screen you have, because that's what my screen has on it.
I don't see it. I see you logged in down there, the other John.
Right.
I'm gonna make you presenter.
Let me shrink that screen. Can you see Lightburn now? No.
Does he have to
I
turn
don't.
his camera on or not?
No, you don't need the camera. It should share the screen as soon as you click the share screen button, or it may pop up a window that says which one do you want to share if you have multiples.
I only have one. It's just an entire screen, and I clicked on share.
You clicked on where it says screen.
How about now?
Goes.
There we go. I had to circle the screen. Let me get this screen out and go back to look. Can you see my computer now? No? No.
Did you see it?
It tried to do something, but it's a blank screen.
Yeah, you're on the right track.
We'll bring Lightburn up and see if that shows up for you.
Yeah, it's showing you're presenting. Connected via the web, connected to audio.
Mm.
You may have to give it permission. It may be a permissions thing. I don't know. Usually you don't have to.
It says share. Stop sharing your screen. It says I'm sharing, so I don't know.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't have the answer either. Oh well, worth a try.
Try unsharing and then share it again and see. I don't know what.
It says your share your screen. I'm going to hit share, and entire screen. And I'm going to box it so the entire screen is boxed, and then I'm going to hit share.
There you go.
That's it.
Now let me see. Yep, you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Let me see if I can shrink this. There's the Lightburn.
Okay.
So where do you want me to go?
So let me see if there's a way that I can request. I think you can give me permission to
On the sharing one?
To use your keyboard and mouse. You can, I don't know if it'll let you or not. So go to Windows, the Windows button down there. You just click it down in the bottom left and just start typing device. And device manager should come up. Yep, there we go. And let's go in there and have a look. And let me see if I can get that a little bit bigger.
I can make it bigger. There you go.
Let's see. There we go. So go into, I don't see ports.
See my arrow? That's the laser. Unknown USB device.
Yeah, so it looks like you need to load that. And you said you did load the FTDI drivers?
Yeah. I didn't turn
Okay,
the
so
computer
there's,
off and come back.
it won't let me.
Can you right click on your right where your arrow is at to get that, or double click on it to get that to pop up?
Yeah, it won't. No,
Update
I'm
driver?
trying.
No, I was trying to
Well,
get him to.
uninstall it.
That's what I was getting ready to.
Uninstall device.
Yeah, but I think if the device descriptor is failing, it's because of a signal. So the best thing to do is probably going to go to
Click on properties. I want to see what the. I can't read it.
Yeah, it's
It says
it,
Universal Series Bus Controller, standard USB host controller, port
yeah.
is number 0003, hub 0003. Windows has stopped this device because it has reported problems, code 43.
Okay, so it still looks like the driver's still not there. And it may not be seeing the descriptor because of a communication issue. So open up the side of your machine where the electronics bay is.
On the machine itself?
On the laser, and what you want to do is take your USB cable and unplug it from where it is underneath the switch, and you're going to plug it directly into the controller that's inside the machine, because those 3 ports running on the side, down by the switches, they're only about 1.5 feet long, and they just go straight to the controller. Those same connections are on the DSP controller behind the door.
Okay, just follow that thing up. Give me a minute, I gotta go do that. Hang on.
Should basically be a white cable if I remember.
All right, just talk for a minute, I'll be back.
Okay. There ought to be a way I could.
It is funny how much you learn about these things in a very short period of time that you can actually help people.
From my Arduino days, I think you're right, Brian. If you don't see that called the right name, it doesn't know that it's got the FTDI chip.
Yeah, it doesn't know
Well,
what
the thing
it is.
too, how long is this cable?
It's probably, well, that's the other thing.
That was what I was getting ready to ask too. Because if he said 20 to 25 feet, that in itself could be the issue.
Yeah.
We'll find out when he gets back if he's not using an active repeater or a
Yeah, because if you got,
set of modems.
like, I have a 50-foot cable, but I have a repeater in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So if he's running a longer cable without a repeater, then that would probably be a possibility.
25 for an FTDI should work, but it's pushing it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying if he's running a longer cable than that without any kind of amplifier.
Yeah, longer than 25 is probably not going to work with that chip.
You say under or over?
Over 25 won't work with the FTDI.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then sometimes getting that driver the first time on a Windows machine is tricky.
No, it's still device descriptor.
Yeah,
so he's got something else going on.
How long is your cable?
It's okay. It's a 15. The first cable's 15 feet, and it has
that's all you need to say.
That's your first problem. You got to get
it has a power assist on it though.
Is it active or is it the modems? Because they make a set that you use a Cat5 cable with it, but it's not actually a network appliance.
This one isn't that. It's active.
Okay, so I would probably recommend the other ones. And basically, they're modems. They convert the digital signal to analog and send it across that twisted pair. So you can go up to 150 feet, and then it'll convert it back to digital on the other side.
So what do
I
you
think
recommend
that
now? Yeah, this one is a USB. It's I could show you.
Well, how long of a USB do you need for that?
The one
you should.
cable's 15 feet, and then there's a 5-foot
You,
pigtail that goes in the
you,
machine.
if you're going to run a wire from your computer to your laser, it really needs to be an Ethernet. Then you don't have to worry about any of
Yeah.
that, and it's easy to set up, and it'll never mess up again. Well,
Yeah, Ethernet's
I'm not going
easy
to
to
say that,
do.
but
Well, if
you
you're
don't have
running it off a router,
driver
you just do a
problems. You don't need drivers. You don't need anything. Because TCP/IP is already a protocol built in on the machine. So, that would be the best way to do it.
Yeah, Amazon calls the cable, just for if you're curious.
Yeah, and you're still sharing. So if you could make it,
No, it's a
even if you're,
different screen. That's on
oh,
a
I
different
gotcha.
screen.
Well, if you're
Amazon,
using two different cables, I mean,
Amazon's
So
calling it cable creation active USB extension cable, 16 feet long, USB 3 extender male female core with single boost capable.
yeah, and I've seen people use those, and I think I got it pulled up here.
but I'm just wondering what's that other 5-foot of cable from?
Well, you gotta.
Basically, I ran it out of my computer in my office here, and it runs through the wall, and then I have a little junction box in the wall. Even though that's not how it's set up right now, but that's what it's going to be. It just runs from the wall down to the machine. That's what the extra little bit is for.
You're almost
Yeah,
better off. I would just say go get a $20 hub, 5-port hub, and just go Ethernet.
Yeah.
definitely.
It's going to save you a lot of headaches in the long run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the USB is very, especially over a long distance like that. I mean, it's not pushing the limits, but I mean,
Well,
it's maybe it is. I don't know.
the,
maybe
here's
Wouldn't it
the
be
other
like
thing.
couldn't it end up being like, was it a packet loss? Is that what it is? That you could end up being for over extended periods that it could actually affect its files?
Well, this is UDP protocol. If you're going
Well,
Ethernet, it doesn't even matter. But no, there's no.
No, I'm
I don't
talking
think
about
there's any
USB.
error checking. I
no,
don't think there's any error checking
USB.
at all.
I had a 30-foot cable in my old shop that I used to try to do my laser off of, and I'd always get packet failures on that. Like it'd be sending a file, and then halfway through sending a file, it would drop the file and throw an error. So I mean, and I switched everything to Ethernet, and I haven't looked back. I mean, because it's so much, and like you said, in the long run, it's so much easier. You don't have to worry about it. Once it's set up, it's set up. Another thing you could do is you can get, like I have in mine, if you're computer savvy at all, you can get you a PCI Express adapter that has multiple Ethernet adapters in it. I run all my stuff off of the computer without a switch. I just built it into the computer, and that way you have an independent port specifically for the computer to run that laser off of that port.
What was it called
And then
again?
it's just a multi PCIe
Yeah, but he
Ethernet.
could do
Ethernet.
just fine with a $20 switch, though. I mean, and not have to take his computer apart. All he needs is an extra LAN cable.
You think this extender you have would work too? I mean, I'm just
Well,
curious.
these have been proven to work even with the Lightburn cameras, and they have a whole lot more bandwidth in them. That data that's being sent to that controller, that RD file, is minimal. I mean, there's not a lot to it.
The Lightburn camera works fine on the cord. That's all I can tell you. It works fine.
That's really weird.
Yeah, that don't sound right.
I mean, I could, you put me back to Sharon. I'll put
on
the
the on the same cable you could view your Lightburn just fine.
I have two cables, the exact same model cables, and I've switched them back and forth. But I can.
Yeah, but you're going into a hub at the computer with the Lightburn camera, aren't you?
No, it's just going to a USB port.
Huh.
Can you switch back to my thing?
You should be able to. Let's see.
If you should be able to take and put a powered USB hub right at your laser and just run one cable that way and then stream your camera and the Thunder off of that.
What was that again?
A
If you
powered
run a
hub.
powered USB hub right at your laser, then you can just have the one cable that goes there, and it'll run your camera and the laser just fine.
Well, he's got an active extender already that's kind of that built in, and it's not working with the Ruida.
Kind of those active extenders. I've had nothing but problems with those active extenders. I have a 50-foot one. Yeah, I have a 50-foot one that just doesn't want to work at all unless I terminate it at the end with a powered USB hub, because that takes that little bit of signal that's still left, amplifies it, corrects it, and sends it on.
Hey,
Now,
on
and you did plug directly into the controller and bypass the one underneath the power switch, right? So you've got
Yes, I
your
did.
USB
Yes, I
cord
did.
plugged straight into the DSP. Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I would
Hey,
honestly, dude, Ethernet would end this conversation, and
Go
you'd
to
never
your-
have trouble again.
Go to your devices where it says where you have it set as auto.
Hang on. Auto in which program? Windows?
Well,
Down at the
you're
bottom
not.
there.
Here?
Can you manually select that?
It
No,
won't matter because the computer's not seeing it. Lightburn's not going to see it.
I
The computer
put-
didn't see the port at all.
I put the Rita stuff in there.
No,
Everything.
put it on where it says auto. What's there? Nothing.
Just
No.
auto. I don't think there's any other choice.
Yeah,
You
there won't
set
be
it-
anything there until your computer can see it.
Plus, when you go to the device setup.
Well, that's
what I was
because
wondering.
when I go to find my laser, it doesn't find it. But I
That's-
put all
yeah.
I created
Well,
manually. I created
Oh.
it all manually.
That's fine to do it manually, but it still looks like a driver issue to me. Either that or you just need to hook up USB. It's either going to be a driver issue or a USB issue.
Yeah.
There's no way it'll see it. I mean, when your computer doesn't even know it's there, so Lightburn's not going to know it's there.
Well, it looks like on his device manager, it looks like it's picking it up. It just doesn't have the drivers loaded for it.
It doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
If you go to if you open up Lightburn and you go to the edit tab and go to machine settings and see if it pulls up your machine.
It won't.
Well-
The computer doesn't even know that there's anything attached to it. The laser is not attached to the computer as far as the computer's concerned.
I understand that in
Lightburn.
theory, but I'm just curious if for some reason it would pick it up.
All right, let me go back. I'll go back to it. Hang on. All education is good. Okay, what do you want me to click on?
The edit button,
Edit.
top left. Top left. There you go. Machine settings. Just see if it populates. Nope. Okay. Yes, definitely communication.
It's just the FTDI driver, I think. It's got to be redone. We used to deal with this with Arduinos over and over.
Yeah. Can you run the Lightburn installer again? I know you did.
Yeah, but okay, we'll do it again. Everybody can look. Okay, it downloads Lightburn version 1.04. Okay.
Could be a bad USB cable too. But
I switched them all. I had 4 different cables and I changed them all.
Gotcha.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you tried to troubleshoot this by taking your Lightburn camera USB and hooking it up to the laser?
Yes, I have.
And it still does the same thing?
Same cords. Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
might be
no,
the
I mean
chipset in that active repeater. It may not play well.
Create a desktop icon next.
Okay.
Additional tasks, icons, whatever, install.
But the multiple cables is what I'm
Okay,
wondering
install FTI serial driver. This is the one you want.
Right.
Finish.
Yep. Hey, Brian, if that doesn't work, I just linked directly to the FTDI driver in the chat. So he might need to just download it and run it on its own.
It's not that. The driver's fine.
See, then it has
The laser.
I'm going to go extract.
Yeah. The laser does. I mean, the machine doesn't know what the device is to assign the proper driver to it, even if the driver is already installed.
Okay, it gives me 2. Says it's ready to use. Finish.
Yeah.
Now, is there a dongle on that? Not a dongle. They don't do it anymore, but the same type of chipset in the controller that maybe it's not picking that up. You know what I'm talking about?
No, just right click on your devices tab.
Right here? Hang on.
Yeah, right click that. See if it shows up found at the bottom. Does it say no device found at the very bottom?
Yeah, no device
Yeah.
found.
Yeah, you need to switch to Ethernet, man, and quit
Okay.
fighting that thing. That'll
Okay.
be so much better for you. And like I said, just a little 5-port hub. If your Ethernet port's already in use by your computer, you can just get a little $20 hub, little 5-port switch, and put it down there, and then hook everything all in it together.
All right, quit sharing.
That's fine.
To shut it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally how mine's set up. I just got a hub out here in the shop.
Yeah, and if the camera works fine through it, good. Leave it.
Yeah,
leave
the
it like.
camera worked fine as far as I could. I mean, I didn't see it that time. It kind of comes and goes. You got to get it, but it's there.
The only thing nice about Plus going to the hub is you'll be able to use your laptop and go wireless to it.
Well, if he depending on how he sets it up.
You're saying the power
if he puts it in line with the router, then yes.
Well, even if you do it ad hoc, you can share, you can bind those if that computer's also on the network, and you can still have it across the network.
But if you have it upstream of the router, how's that possible?
Because it's connecting through the computer that it's directly connected to. You share it through that computer across the network.
Oh.
Kind of when I got at part of the conversation, if I ran one USB cable and then put the power USB hub at the other side, then I could hook the camera and the machine in.
Or it won't work at all again.
You could,
Ethernet.
but honestly, Ethernet really is the way to go.
Fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then your Lightburn camera, can't you hook that into if you had a switch at the laser, you can get that adapter he had, right? That USB adapter Ethernet, and hook the camera up that way, or no?
Well, his camera
those can't run
works.
through switches.
His camera works.
Yeah, I know, but instead of running multiple cables, I didn't know if
he already has 2 cables. All he'll be doing is replacing one USB cable with an Ethernet cable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side, if he gets a switch that's got a USB port that's designed for like external hard drives and stuff, he can hook his camera straight into that and stream his camera over Ethernet.
I'm gonna go hook the camera, and then you guys can see and tell me if it's not what it's supposed to be. I'll go hook that up.
The Lightburn bridge, when they get the camera working through that thing, that's going to be sweet. And I need to call and bug them about that.
Yeah, bug them about getting it ready for fiber lasers too.
Well, that's, believe me, something that he's been working on for years.
Yep.
So, yeah, that'll be a game changer.
I thought it looked like on his site the other day when I was looking that he had the bridge working.
It is, but just not with the camera.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to find the camera now. It should show up in there now.
So, Brian, I have a random question, and just out of sheer curiosity. So that one gal who had her laser that they tried delivering yesterday, and they threw it off the truck.
I saw that. Yeah.
What happens in that scenario? Is it the trucking company that's on the hook for that?
If they'd have taken the pallet jack and thrown it over to the other side and stuck it in there and then let it down, they could have pulled it right off of there.
Oh,
the pallet jack, they had it stuck on the other side, so they went to let it down. The pallet jack hung on the top of the truck and it flipped it over.
Yep.
So.
You want to know what happens though?
What happened?
So we file a claim, and it takes months and months and months for something to happen. Best case scenario, we get half the money back. Best case.
Wow.
Very rarely does it ever work out. We usually don't get anything.
That's insane.
Terrible. Logistics really screws us a lot.
Yeah.
And then we look like the bad guys, you know.
Yep.
What is that camera look sideways?
The aspect ratio doesn't. It's just goofy. But yeah, that's decent. That's about how much.
Yeah, I haven't done any corrections or any settings or anything. It's just the camera's there. I got it mounted.
Yeah, the lens calibration values won't show up in the preview. That correction is only for the overlay. So whatever you see in the preview, none of that that you set up will be reflected in it. But it will on the overlay once you finally get it calibrated. We can help with that too.
Okay, yeah, we didn't get there yet. We just got it still mounting the camera, but that's what it's going to show you. It doesn't correct that picture, huh? That's exactly what it shows. Okay.
Yeah.
But see, that's all working on the cables, same cables. So I don't know.
I don't know either. That's
And
crazy.
I've switched this cable to the controller.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
The stupid question, but the controller has power, right?
The unit's on. That's a good question, I guess. How can I tell? Is there a green light somewhere or something?
Well, the display will light up.
I went through the series and I fired the laser, so that must mean that works, or is that doesn't mean anything?
Oh yeah, if you pulse from the control panel and it lights up and shows you some things, I'd say it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the zeros and did the stuff that I was supposed. I followed the video exactly, and I cleaned the mirrors, and one of them, number 3, was really, really, really dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And then it pulse fired okay. So if the controller is working, if that's happened, then
yeah, it's probably okay. It's something with that. It's something with that particular cable you could buy. You could probably buy a different version of a USB extender or adapter or whatever, and it might work. But honestly, yeah, if it's just a wire, doesn't really matter what ends are on it, and we can.
I didn't load the driver, so I did do that now, and I didn't have that before. So we made some improvement one way or the other.
Yeah. So.
All right, thanks guys for all the input. And
sure.
Actually,
it's 4 o'clock again already.
Time flies.
Jim, are you gonna be the after show thing again? Let me look. I think I got another thing. Do I have another thing? That's the wrong thing. Oh, yeah, I do have another thing. Does anybody have any more questions?
So do you guys get that laser that fell off the truck? Do you guys get that back? And would you guys sell it as a damaged unit?
I mean, they have to do the insurance claims, and that can take several months. But I mean, at the end of that,
I'm not in a hurry.
I swear, I bet they could flip that thing up, flip it over, and plug it in, and I bet it would work.
As long as the tube ain't shattered, that's still. I was wondering.
The tube's not shattered.
Tube is shot. You could hear it when they tried to flip it back over and it rocked up and fell back down. You could hear the glass.
Yeah, I heard something break.
Yeah, it's probably my heart.
Either that or the doors.
That's a shame.
Most of the time, you don't get anything out of shipping. They always blame how it was packed inside the box. In
Well,
this case, it obviously was mishandled, but most of the time, I had another machine come in, my CNC machine. There wasn't a dent in the outside of the box, but they dropped the shit out of it and actually tore it up inside. And then they go back to the shipper that you didn't pack it right. That's what happened.